All right, yep, we're on.
Good.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, this is the brother Zakaria.
I am a warrior.
All right, we're the brothers from the Modesto, California Hebrew Israelite camp, coming back with another lesson. All right, and as always, before we get started, we're gonna give all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Arakakodash. And double honors to our apostles, our elders everywhere at Great Millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Akim, preaching this word in all truth and sincerity. So yeah, it's just a quick one, um, just in the spirit of what's right here in Isaiah 32, because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is gonna deliver, all right, men that believe, and these men that believe, prior to the deliverance, it's going to be revealed, that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is dealing with these men. So you go ahead and start that.
Yes, sir. This is Isaiah 32 and 1. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment.
Right. And that king, that's going to rule in righteousness, reign in righteousness, is Yahweh Shai. Okay, Yahweh Shai is coming back to bring righteousness to this world. Okay, to establish righteousness, to make righteousness, an executive order. And those that refuse, to comply with that righteousness are going to get judged. Okay, the heathen, all right, they're going to get judged. 2/3 of our people, they're going to come back in their right mind. Now, the apostles did say that, when we come down off the chariots, there is going to be jakes that are out there, and if they refuse to comply with Yahweh Shai and the elect, they're going to get put to death. Okay? Like the wilderness. All right, you keep going.
And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind.
And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind. You think about the wind, the wind can, it's like a metaphor, a parable for chaos, for a bad time.
Storm.
Like a storm. Right now we are, approaching or entering the eye of the storm. Things are about to really, hit the fan. Yeah, they're talking about these, the power grid and taking it down, and, inflation, and a couple months of Hormuz being closed much longer, prices of goods and everything are going to skyrocket. Keep going.
It says, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land.
Mm.
So it's a place of rest.
You know. All right, so from there, I'm going to jump to this in Revelation 21. And I'm going to jump to Revelation 21 and 2. It says, or you go ahead and read if you want.
Yeah, I got it. Revelation 21 and 2, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
Right. And that New Jerusalem is referring to the elect. Okay, the New Jerusalem coming down from the power out of heaven is talking about when the elect, all right, come off of those chariots down onto the earth after the missiles hit, man. Because we're the only ones warning, our people and telling these other nations the judgment of World War III, of nuclear missiles being shot to destroy America, all right, the land of Israel, and of course other parts of the earth are going to get hit, with these missiles, man. Okay. So after, the smoke starts to clear certain places, brothers are going to come down. Okay. Israelites are going to come down off those so-called UFOs. Verse 3.
And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua himself shall be with them and be their power.
Right. So the tabernacle of the Lord is with men. Okay, see that we had to bring it out because it said in Isaiah 32 that a man, an Israelite man, the elect Israelite man, shall be a hiding, a covering from the storm, from when all hell breaks loose. Okay, you women are going to need a man of the Lord. All right, because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is not just dealing with you because, you're Israelite. Okay, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is only dealing with the elect, only the elect men. Okay, the Lord ain't dealing with these women, even women that say they believe. Well, the Lord ain't dealing with them either, because they're gonna have to find a man, all right, an Israelite man to be their protection, to be their guide, their power in that day. Okay. So the tabernacle of the Lord is with the elect men. All right. And he's going to prove that because as all hell breaks loose, the Lord is going to guide those men. He's going to protect those men. Okay. He's going to raise those men up. Okay. Yes, sir?
Yeah, Isaiah 13:12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir.
Right. And gold is always going to be a valuable resource, a valuable mineral element. Okay. So it says that a man, an Israelite man, the elect man, is going to be more precious than fine gold. Okay, more precious than even the gold of Ophir, which Ophir is here in the Americas, man. Okay, and it was well known that you had a fucking California gold rush. Why was that? Because they were finding high value gold here in California, Oregon, Washington, all throughout the West Coast of the United States. Okay, when Columbus came to the Americas and, they were going all throughout Central South America finding gold. Okay, and the gold that they were finding was pure, more pure than gold that they were used to finding. Okay, the gold out here would be 20 karat and up. Now, it's very rare to find, 23, 24 karat gold, because it needs to be worked. It has to be, the impurities have to be removed, So, Ophir had high value gold. And the Lord's saying that he's going to make, the elect man more precious in that time. Because gold can take you out of a jam. These countries, they trade in gold. That's why the Chinese are telling Esau to fuck his Federal Reserve notes, take them and wipe his ass with them, shove them. Because the gold standard was removed from the dollar. All right, or the dollar was removed from a gold standard, so it's not backed by anything. When these countries are realizing they're getting played, because this guy could just print infinite paper money. Okay, so gold is a very precious element, and the Lord is saying that, look, you're more precious than gold. All right, you're more precious than money. Scriptures say money is a defense, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you being a man of the Lord is a defense. All right, you keep going if you had more.
Filled up. Oh, yeah. Proverbs 18:10. The name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. I just brought that out because, like you said, man, a man of the Lord, that's going to be the covert from the wind. That's going to be, the hiding place for a woman is a man, because the hiding place for a man is going to be the name Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And so those men that have been given the ability to call upon the Lord for help are going to be an extremely precious thing in these last days for those that, for these women that are looking for salvation, because they're only going to find it in a man, because the tabernacle of the Lord is only with men. So you're only going to find it with a man of the Lord, a man that, is dwelling with wisdom and righteousness, and Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is dealing with that, man. All right. And through what? Through obedience of the faith. That's the only way to get it. You can be called and not chosen. You know what I mean? That's why it says to make your calling and election sure by doing your diligence, being willing and obedient. Because you can be called and then, still be a bug out, man.
Yep.
That's why you got to make sure that you're taking heed and that you're repenting, all right, and that you're working out your salvation. You're actually doing the things, because, hey, the guy that hid his talent in a napkin, he was called, but he didn't do what he was supposed to do, and that's why he got in trouble. When the Lord came back and seen, like, I gave you this talent, I called you, and then you didn't do nothing with it. You knew that I was an austere man. You knew that I was going to come to collect, and you didn't prepare yourself for when I came to collect.
God. Yeah, he said you could have put it to the you could have put it up and got mine with interest.
Right.
So
you could have sold it to the money changers or something of that nature,
Yeah.
You could have did something with it.
Yeah.
You could have invested it somewhere. It tells you it tells you in the scriptures that he that giveth a prophet, a drink of water in the name of a prophet, he is not without his reward, man.
Yeah.
So even those of you that listen, and if you're repenting and you believe, and maybe you're not on the highways and the hedges, maybe you're not a prophet, but you're a sincere believer, and you give some type of support, tithes, whatever it is that you do, there's still something that, there's still a blessing that comes with that.
Good. This is Psalm 37 and 32. The wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him. The Lord will not leave him in his hand, nor condemn him when he is judged.
Right. It tells you in the scriptures, no condemnation to them that are in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. So this devil, like, he got plans to take out the elect, man. But those plans are going to fall through because this devil can't do nothing without the Lord's permission. And if the Lord says, hey, man, touch not mine anointed and do my prophets no harm, then there's nothing that this guy could do about it, man. And that's exactly what the Lord said. Touch not mine anointed and do my prophets no harm. All right, this isn't like, all these other times in the scriptures. This is the last time, man. The Lord's not going to let us get played. Like, It ain't gonna go down the way Esau thinks it's gonna go down, man. It says when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Lord's gonna lift up a standard against his ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he got another thing fucking coming, man. He's gonna be like, oh yeah, well, you know, who will deliver them out of my hand? You know, guess who else said that, man? Nebuchadnezzar. He said, who's gonna deliver you? What God's gonna deliver you out of my hand? You know, we threw him into that furnace and nothing happened, and he was astonished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he bugged out and he seen Yahushua. You know, this devil's gonna see Yahushua at the end, man. You know, it says that he's gonna fight against the Prince of Princes.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because ultimately the Lord is gonna put the Spirit in them to fight. Because they're gonna be terribly afraid at the return of the Lord. But the Lord gonna make this guy fight. He gonna control those fucking fighter jets and all that. It's all controlled by you know, digital systems, AI. So they might be terrified in their little cockpits flying around, and the Lord gonna make their cockpits fight with them in them, just to bug them out, make it worse. You know, because that battle in heaven that these churches like to talk about is gonna take place. It has not taken place yet, and it's not talking about Satan and the angels fighting, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's talking about, you know, ace combat.
Yeah, that fucking this Catholic church will have you believe it's a bunch of fucking self-proclaimed white people with wings,
Right.
with swords in their hands, fighting in the sky.
Yep.
You know, but that's not the case, man. Hey, man, the angels are dark skinned. You know, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, they're dark skinned, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the ultimate Israelites. You know, the Most High is an Israelite. You know, if you really understand it, you know,
Yep.
was where his children. That's the Father. You know.
That's right.
So, I mean, yeah, that's why you can't. You know, you can't fight against the nation of Israel, man. You know, everything that's happened to Jake has happened because Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai allowed it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and all that stuff happened, you know, because we had to go through all these different things.
We had to learn.
Yeah.
You know, we had to understand the whole role.
We had to well understand the fear of the Lord, man.
And then also we had to understand judgment in its entirety. That way, when we're set up on thrones to judge, we judge things righteously. Okay, Solomon, who is Yahweh Shai in the pre-generation, who is also Adam, you know, who is also the Son of the Most High. He had to he had to deal in wisdom. You know, and he is Adam. All right. So, you know, when he showed the wisdom that he had, the world marveled when he was Solomon Salakia. You know, all the nations would come because of the wisdom he had. All right. So this is verse 34. It says, "Wait on Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it."
Yep, and that's what we're doing, is we're just waiting, man, and just abiding in the sanctuary by putting out these videos and constantly acknowledging the Lord every day, you know, working on ourselves, repenting for our faults. You know, all this stuff, these people don't do none of this stuff. You know what I mean? These people, all they think about is themselves. It's a very selfish world, man.
Yeah, they're not rehearsing the righteous acts of the Lord.
Mm-mm.
They're rehearsing the folly that's in this world, you know?
Yeah.
They're being straight bug outs and demons and enjoying this shit. Meanwhile, we're rehearsing the righteous acts, catching pure hell, because we know that we were destined for greatness, for something more, for a righteous society, to be at peace, to enjoy this paradise. But here it is, we got to suffer and wait for the return of our Lord.
Hey, man, just being in the flesh is hard, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, these people, they don't think about life like that. They don't think about nothing like that. They don't understand that being in the flesh is a damn curse. Just having this body is a damn curse. Jake worried about, wanting to please the Lord, man. It's like you wish you could be perfect. You wish you could be all righteous, never do anything wrong.
Yeah, but we're creeps.
We're what?
Creeps.
That
song?
Filthy rags, man.
That song?
Yeah.
He said, I want a perfect body.
Yeah, I want a perfect soul. Oh,
yeah.
Man. Seriously.
He said, but I'm a creep.
Oh, geez.
And it's not because we want to be. It's because the Lord put us in these chains of darkness, man.
Well, it said the same that subjected us to vanity, subjected us to hope.
I'm gonna look for that in the NLT and see what it says real quick in the book of Jude, I believe. Yeah. This is Jude 1 and I believe 8. No, 1 and 6. So this is Jude 1 and 6, and it says, I remind you of the angels who did not stay within the limits of authority Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai gave them, but left the place where they belonged. It says, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai has kept them securely chained in prisons of darkness, waiting for the great day of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And those chains of darkness is these bodies, man. Because we're not free to do the right thing at all times. We don't have a perfect mind where we're constantly able to think and summon up righteousness. This mind is prone to going off, and then where your mind goes off, it tends to make your flesh go off, But that's why, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai expects us to be patient and work things out and get better.
Offend
less, which is getting better,
Yeah, because it says it doesn't say, offend no more.
Yeah.
That would be impossible, man. It says to offend less, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you do that by resisting.
Yeah, you gotta stay in the spirit as much as possible and apply these scriptures to your mind, because we're here to rehearse and get it better. Because when the Lord returns, we need to show the Lord that we're ready, to embrace everlasting life. It's just like you're in school, whether it's elementary, whether it's middle school, high school, going to college, you get graded. And you don't have to be perfect to move on to the next level. There's a grading. As long as you had a C minus, you're able to, a D plus.
Yeah.
As long as you fall into that, criteria of what the Lord expects of you personally, hey, then that's His will. That's your will. His will. Because the scriptures say that, how does it go? That the Lord will have mercy on whom He will have mercy. and compassion upon whom he will have compassion. Okay? You could be a brother that doesn't know much, but you fear the Lord greatly. You know, you're always keeping yourself, and the Lord find favor on you. You could be a brother that offends, but you have faith and he sees your works. So it really just depends on how Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai feels about you. You know, he justifies you.
Well, there's that scripture where it talks about
we're not all gonna be on that same level. We don't all have the same measure of faith. You know, there's brothers out there that got super high faith, super mighty faith. They're out there doing hour lessons, you know, every day of the week, 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's because of how great their faith is, man. You got a brother that might only do 2 videos a week, 3 videos a week. You know? Or might do a full week of videos and they just not be that long. You know, that's the measure of faith the Lord gave him. And at the end of the day, it's the Lord. He's going to have mercy on who he has mercy. You know? That's why it says to wait on the Lord and keep his way. As we read in Psalm 37 and 34. You had something else?
Yeah. Let me find it real quick.
Come on. So I'm going to continue then. This is Psalm 37 and 35. I have seen the wicked in great power and spread himself like a green bay tree. And the wicked, he's in great power. This guy got the whole world fooled in his buffoonery, all right, in his deception. He spread himself like a green bay tree. When you Google a green bay tree or a bay tree, they got those branches that they breach out, they hang over.
Yep.
And they cover far. You typically find those types of trees in like a grove. And they'll be stacked together, you know, to hide out the sun, hide out light. They create a great shade. Okay? So this damn devil, the self-proclaimed white man, all right, he's in great power and spread himself abroad like a green bay tree. Everywhere you go, this devil has his red ass foot, his red ass hand there. All right, you can say whatever the fuck you want, you know, Korea, North Korea, Russia, fucking Iran. This devil got his red ass foot and hand in those places, man. The scriptures say the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, man. Okay? They all sitting behind the scenes drinking coffee and, you know, thinking that they're running game on the Lord, man. You know? These fucking devils, the elite, the Illuminati, they understand certain things of the scriptures. What they don't understand is however way they play the game, it's really meant to be playing them. You know. But whatever you had, bro.
Yeah, going back to what we were talking about earlier, this is Luke 18 and 9. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. 2 men went up into the temple to pray, the one a Pharisee and the other a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself, God, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. I fast twice in the week, I give tithes of all that I possess. And the publican, standing afar off, would not lift up so much as his eyes unto heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his house, more justified rather than the other. For everyone that exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted.
Right. And that being said, it didn't say that either or was wicked, but it was saying that the other was more justified because of the humility, the humility that he portrayed. The scriptures talk about, being proud or overzealous. And pride is evil. It's wicked. But being overzealous can be evil and wicked too. It's nothing wrong with being zealous. You had a lot of men that were zealous, like Matthias, the Maccabees. They were zealous men. It talked about how their father ran upon the heathen, being overzealous or being zealous, Lakia. He died being zealous for the Lord. All right, but the point is that, the Lord, he'd rather you be in a contrite, humble spirit, because we all go off. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep, just showing you, man. It tells you, what does it say in the scriptures? It says, not many righteous, not many noble, not many great men were called into the truth, but the Lord called the weak things to confound the things that are strong, man. The weak things of the world, man. So just regular old Jakes, man.
Yeah, not many are rich or not many mighty.
Yeah, not many mighty. So it's like, all it says in the scriptures is, that it was given to babes, man. So it's like,
yep.
You got brothers that probably didn't even finish high school. You got brothers that
brothers that never read the scriptures or had a family that had Bibles in their house,
coming out of all kind of different situations and backgrounds and trauma.
Yep, gave it to babes. Baby just fresh in the world. We were fresh into reading the scriptures. All right. So, Slakia, Psalm 37 and 35, I have seen the wicked in great power and spread himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yet I sought him, but he could not be found. Ultimately, Esau gonna get his punk ass taken out the way. And the Lord gonna judge him, man. Take him out the way. Hey, the scriptures tell you in Isaiah, I believe it's Isaiah 25, that the Lord gonna judge Esau by the hand of his people Israel. So ultimately we gonna take this devil and do away with him. This is Mark Slakia, verse 37. It says, mark the perfect man and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. See, the perfect man. Now let's get the Hebrew word for perfect. Okay, the word there for perfect is thumb or tha'am. And it says, one who lacks nothing in physical strength, beauty, etc. That's the one. It says, morally innocent, having integrity.
Having integrity, man.
Yep. One who is morally and ethically pure, undefiled, upright,
righteous.
Yeah, upright, undefiled, morally innocent. All right, like people like to say, or what was it, the animals? I'm just a soul whose intentions are good.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the perfect man. And what makes you perfect is just you having faith in the Lord, like truly having faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Because the world is there to bug you out and test your faith. When people don't, people in the world, when they get bugged out or tested, they crash out, man. They crash out. They end up killing people. They end up killing themselves. They just fucking fall into hardship, drugs, and they just say, fuck it, I'm done. We can't do that.
Yeah.
Because you got to have faith. You got to believe that there is a resolution to all this madness, man. And there is a resolution. Yahweh Shai.
Yeah.
Coming back to save us. All right. It says, mark the perfect man and behold the upright. For the end of that man is peace. You got to believe that. That the end is us receiving peace. Is finding the Lord in peace. It says, but the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. But the salvation of the righteous is of Yahweh. He is their strength in the time of trouble. And what we have coming is a buttload of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the time of Jacob's trouble. Which really, the time of Jacob's trouble isn't even for us.
2/3, man.
It's for 2/3 of our people, man. We're going to be tested through these things. We're always going through a test. Everything is a test. Every day is a test. Every hour is a test. Okay? But the elect are going to pass the test. They're going to shine. The scriptures say they're going to shine like the firmament. But the wicked, they're going to do wickedly, man. All right, it says, but the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord. He is their strength in the time of trouble. And Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the Lord, shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him. That's right, man, because they trust in him. Because you trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you believe. When you trust somebody, that means you believe them, man. You believe that everything they tell you is true. You trust them. You trust them with your life. You can leave something around them and know that when you get back, it'll be right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because you trust them. All right, you can fall asleep and know that you can wake up and, it's going to be okay. So we trust in the Lord that he's going to make right. He's going to make true everything he's promised our forefathers, man. That's what our forefathers would always run and beg and pray to the Lord. And be like, look, for what you told our forefathers. For Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's sake.
Yeah. for the word's sake, man.
Yep.
Because of Most High, he spake of a lot of things that the Lord said he would do for us, man.
Oh yeah.
How many times in the scriptures the Lord says, like, hey man, just come back, just repent, just cut off the evil of your ways and seek righteousness, and I'll forgive you, man.
God. This is 2 Esdras 16 and 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as a gold in the fire. Going back to that test, man. But the elect are going to be known. Okay, they're going to come through that. They're going to pass the test. And this is the point. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same.
Yeah. We're going to deliver Jake, man. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yep. The Lord gonna deliver, Jake. It's already been written.
He said it, therefore it shall be performed.
God. Anyways, you got anything you want to close with?
No.
All right, so Adawan Artazah that exhorted you, gave you a boost, So with that, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Harakah Kodash. And double honors to our apostles and elders that rule well at Great Millstone. And shalom to the hopeful elect out there.
Shalom.